Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Hawk Blogger Mornings. I am Brian Nemhauser. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Hawk Blogger, and this is the latest in a series of pre-recorded episodes I am doing while I am out on vacation, touring around Glacier National Park, as well as Banff and Lake Louise, and all sorts of other good things with the family. So, hope you enjoy this. This is coming out first to our suite level YouTube members. They get access as soon as I post it. Everybody else, you get to see it together when it goes live on what I think will be a Sunday. This probably will be a Sunday when this goes out and everyone else gets a chance to see it. What I wanted to do in this episode is go over some of my favorite plays from the Seahawks secondary in 2023. And the reason I wanted to do that is because I think this secondary, obviously, especially the cornerback room, is loaded with talent and has the potential to be one of the best at what they do in the NFL. And, you know, while it was a pretty dark year overall for the defense, there were some moments that really stood out. And I think it's always fun, especially in these quiet times of the offseason, to relive a little bit of the goodness that we saw last season. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to show you some highlights that I've caught up, and we'll talk you through a few of those. And what you can do for me is like the video and subscribe to this channel. You know, I really, really appreciate it when people just take the quick second it takes to click the like button, have other people help discover this content, discover this channel, and discover this really cool growing community we have here on this channel. And I'd really appreciate it if you could do that, as well as subscribe. We are growing the subscriber base. We were well over 10,000 subscribers and continuing to grow. So the more we grow, the better the content will be. That is generally the way this will work. We'll get better and better guests, and we've already had a lot of great guests to speak of. So let's keep growing. You can help with that. And as I mentioned, you can also become a YouTube member. That is a great way to support the show and the channel, and really get to meet a bunch of other folks in the community as well. All right. So here we go. We are going to start talking about a few of these of my favorite plays. This is not an exhaustive list. I didn't go through every great play. And I will also say that I am not going to show any plays for players that aren't on the team anymore. The purpose of this is to get excited about what's to come, not what is no longer here. So no offense to Quandre Diggs or Jamal Adams or anybody else. This is about guys that I am excited that already made plays in 2023 that I believe are going to continue doing that in 2024 and beyond. So first play for me, this was a play that happened in the game where Seahawks were playing the Arizona Cardinals in week 7. And it was one of those plays that really helped cement Devin Witherspoon as more than just a ball hawk, more than just a guy that can blitz, but a guy that can just lay the wood on opponents, even at what is generally a smaller frame and smaller size than was typical in the NFL for a cornerback. So let's take a look at this together. The situation is Arizona has the ball at their own 10-yard line. It's second down, and Joshua Dobbs is about to pass to Rondale Moore, and Rondale Moore is going to feel this. So let's take a look. That is Devin Witherspoon just blowing up Rondale Moore. Love that play. Love everything about it. Let's take a look one more time at that. And what you see here from Devin Witherspoon, breaking off of his man to come and just light up Rondale Moore. Let's watch from this angle here. Watch him come off of his man in a blur, and Rondale Moore has no idea what's about to happen to him, but he does now. Just just a fantastic play there from Devin Witherspoon, and really announces himself as a hitter in this game. This next play should come as no surprise. This was a big moment for the Seahawks in week 2 against the Detroit Lions. This was a play in a back and forth game where the Seahawks had battled back to where they were finally in front. Geno Smith had just thrown a touchdown to Tyler Lockett, and the Seahawks were up 24-21 in the fourth quarter. The Lions took over at this point, and after a couple of plays, they got a first down. It was now actually on first down in this the play right before this. Tre Brown had blitzed and sacked Jared Goff. I almost showed that play, but quite honestly, it wasn't the most flashy sack. It was kind of a stuck with it and finally got to the guy sack. But it was now 2nd and 15 after Tre Brown had sacked Jared Goff. Also, keep in mind, Jared Goff had what was the longest streak in the NFL going of pass attempts without throwing an interception. So Seahawks up 24-21. The Lions have the ball at their 35-yard line in the fourth quarter. And this is what happened next. Watch Tre Brown right here break on that ball, and he is gone. He is gone. I want to share with you one other play here. So one other part of this play. So let's rewind, because right here, Uchenna Nwosu actually hits Jared Goff's arm and affects the throw in order for that play to happen. You can't see it from that angle, but you will see it from the next angle that's about to come up here. So it happens pretty quickly. Again, watch right here and watch Jared Goff's arm in this play. And there goes Tre Brown taking it all the way back to put the Seahawks ahead 30-21. They would go on to need overtime to beat the Lions, but that play ended Jared Goff's streak and was just a huge play in that game overall. And I think that was Tre Brown's first interception return for a touchdown. So also just a great play. Next play, this was Devin Witherspoon's coming out party. He had 2 sacks in this play, in this game. This was the first sack of Devin Witherspoon's career. Let's rewind here so you can see one of the things that really stood out for me on this play. Devin Witherspoon's right here. Watch how he disguises this blitz. You know, his timing, he's looking in. Like, you can see his face. He is looking in, but he is not creeping toward the line of scrimmage, and he times his blitz right with the snap, which is something, if you follow the Ravens defense, they are excellent at timing these blitzes out of the secondary, which makes them that much harder to anticipate. And here is Devin Witherspoon timing it right up with the snap. There was no chance for that Giants offensive line to get anything done. In fact, they gave up 11 sacks in that game. 11 sacks in that game. You will see Devin Witherspoon come right here. That's an arrow. Let's try that again. Let's try an arrow. I'm not the telestrator guy. Wow, I'm really bad at this. This is kind of fun. There we go. That's an arrow. All right. You'll see Devin Witherspoon coming from over there. Let's take a look on this play. You see him just blow up Daniel Jones for Devin Witherspoon's first sack of his career. And then this is the play that I think everybody remembers from 2023. Certainly the play of the year for the Seahawks. And important to take a look here. Devin Witherspoon sitting right here in the slot and takes advantage of a bad play from Daniel Jones, of which there are a bunch. But this was people kind of forget this was actually a bigger play than people might have realized. The Seahawks were only up 14-3, which I mean is considerable, but it was the 2 minutes to go in the third quarter, actually a little bit less than that. And the Giants had driven all the way to the Seahawks 5-yard line. We're looking to get a touchdown, which would have brought them within 14-10. So they were threatening. But Devin Witherspoon was having none of it. He follows his man and then is off to the races. Great cutback there. No chance to get him. And Witherspoon's gone. I think one of the best parts of this play that is underrated is watch number 20, Julian Love. Watch number 20, Julian Love, catch up to Devin Witherspoon. So there's Witherspoon. He gets it thrown right to him. There's Tariq Woolen right there. But Julian Love, I mean, showing some pretty elite speed, if you ask me. Not something you see every day. And you got Woolen, you've got Witherspoon, and you've got Julian Love. Woolen, Witherspoon, and Love all there as Devin Witherspoon scores on his first interception return for a touchdown against the Giants. Game, I think he was the defensive player of the week in that game. Now, this is the very next game where the Seahawks secondary was still playing pretty elite football, and there was this great game here. Tre Brown was, I think, the star of this game. And let me actually get myself out of the way so you can kind of see here. On this particular play, sorry, let me get that going. On this particular play, Tre Brown's at the bottom of your screen. He's matched up with Jamar Chase, who for some people is in the conversation for best receiver in football. What happens here, for my money, is like teaching tape for how to play the cornerback position. And Tre Brown just absolutely forces Jamar Chase to the sideline and then takes his place in the route and turns around and picks this off. If you haven't heard the Tre Brown interview I did, I highly recommend going back and listening to that as he describes this play in more detail. Here we go. There is Tre Brown, and look at him just perfectly play that pass. Absolutely perfect. And you will see it here from another angle where Tre Brown just runs that route. Joe Burrow throws it up, trusting his best receiver. And Tre Brown is just forced Jamar Chase to the sideline. He had no place to go and also turned around. Like Shaquille Griffin was the guy who the Seahawks had and maybe could play that pass, but he could never turn his head around to make the play. And here's Tre Brown making what was a key interception on that play. This was actually right after. Sorry, I'm trying to find. I think this was right after halftime, if I remember correctly. Yes. So this was the first possession of the second half when the Bengals were ahead 14-10, and it was 2nd and 5, and Tre Brown intercepts it. The Seahawks get the ball back at their own 31 with momentum. Of course, they only were able to go down to the Bengals 3-yard line and then botched it up and didn't score any points. So ended up, unfortunately, not being turned in. But this next play was later in the game. The Bengals are up 17-13, and they have the ball at their own 18-yard line with 1:53 to go. So this is, if the Bengals can get a first down, game's over, okay? And on this particular play, Tre Brown is up here, and he's going against T. Higgins instead of Jamar Chase, another excellent receiver. And what you're going to see on this play is Tre Brown, again, just perfect form in how he plays this. T. Higgins actually makes the high-pointed catch, but Tre Brown, even at 5'10", is able to extend his arms up and knock the ball out of T. Higgins' arms And in fact, you'll see a penalty flag thrown on this play, and you'll see Devin Witherspoon freaking out, thinking that it was called pass interference on Tre Brown. It actually ended up being called offensive pass interference because T. Higgins pushed off on this play. But let's take a look at this play and watch how Tre Brown gets the press, and it once again makes just a beautiful play. I gotta pause it on this. Look at that right there. Look at him high point, and Tre Brown right now is got his hands in between the arms of T. Higgins and knocks the ball loose. Just a absolutely gorgeous play from Tre Brown. Not the best. Did not actually get to see it from that angle, so apologies for that, but you get it. All right, and so then this is, I believe, the last play I've got, and this was Julian Love. And importantly on this play, look at where Julian Love is. This is the end of the game against the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Seahawks at this point had just taken the lead. Drew Lock had thrown a great pass to Jackson Smith and Jigba for a touchdown, and the Seahawks were up 20-17. The Eagles still had the ball and their timeouts. They had all 3 timeouts. Jalen Hurts had just scrambled 20 yards up to the 45-yard line. All they needed was a field goal to tie. And they took a timeout, and then it was 1st and 10 at the Philadelphia 45-yard line when Jalen Hurts decided to go for a deep pass to A.J. Brown. And let's see what happened there. I'm going to go ahead and make this a little larger for you and watch the amount of ground that Julian Love covers. It is astounding. Just a fantastic play in general, but he covered so much ground on this play. You're going to see here just a fantastic play from Julian Love. You can see here coming across, and also pretty darn good coverage as well. I believe that's Tre Brown. It is. So Tre Brown, once again, I mean, on go balls, Tre Brown is pretty impressive against against Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and A.J. Brown. It is not a bad threesome for having that kind of play. But I want to rewind here just for a second. Look at the amount of ground that Julian Love has to cover to get over and make this play in the first place. Again, you think about the speed that he demonstrated in the Giants game on that return, and I just think this is another example of why I think Julian Love can be a special player for this team. So the ball is out right here, okay? The ball is out right here. Look at where Julian Love is, right at the hash mark. And he has got to get all the way to the sideline to make this play. Watch how much ground he covers. And then watch, this was also reviewed. He dots his toes inbounds to make that an interception. So, folks, those were my favorite plays. Those were my favorite plays for the Seahawks in the secondary in 2023. And it's part of why I'm excited about what this crew can do this year. I think Tariq Woolen's going to take a step forward again. I think Mike McDonald's going to put him in better positions to succeed. I like the additions of Rayshon Jenkins and Kayvon Wallace. I think that Devin Witherspoon in a second season and then being melded with the genius that is Mike McDonald, I think we've got a lot more highlights coming our way in 2024. Those were my favorite for 2023. I hope you liked it. Please like and subscribe. Consider joining at patreon.com/hawkblogger as a supporter of the show. Get access to our Slack channel and get to hear all the audio versions of our podcast. So take care. I hope you have a good rest of your day. I am Brian Nemhauser. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at hawkblogger. Until the next time, this has been another episode of Hawk Blogger Mornings. Take care.